Hello, hello. Welcome back to another Workshop Wednesday. This week, it's a Getting Started edition. Remember, we rotate editions every week. We do Getting Started, we do a What's New, we do Beyond Basics, and we do a strategy session. Every single week, we switch out the editions. This week, it's Getting Started, and we're using community visualizations in Google Data Studios. This is for those of you who are beginners just starting out with Google Data Studio. We're going to talk about community visualizations and how you can use them to enhance your own dashboards. Before we go too far into this, my name is Chris Mercer. Welcome if this is your first Workshop Wednesday. I actually do go by Mercer. Everybody calls me Mercer. You should as well. I'm the co-founder of measurementmarketing.io. And whether you found us through some of the podcasts and talks that we give or through some of the content that we've shared with some of the platforms like CXL Institute or Digital Marketer, Measure Summit, or Social Media Examiner, maybe you're already a member of measurementmarketing.io. However you found us, we are happy that you're here. It's our job to help you learn how to use all these cool tools so that you can know what your numbers are and you can ultimately grow those numbers. Or in the case of maybe Data Studio reports, it's helping others know what their numbers are because maybe you're building these for clients or for stakeholders, your boss, maybe not just yourself. And the reason that we talk about the Measurement Marketing Academy, that is our flagship product, is because it helps move us through the measurement framework, this measurement marketing framework. Now, this is what the framework looks like. You plan, you build, and then you act. So let's talk a little bit about how this whole thing goes together and then how Data Studio and how community visualizations will come into play. First, as marketers, we all typically are marketing in the blind. We're trying to get to the point where we've got a system that predicts results, right? Predicts profit, predicts our results. So in the planning stages, we think about the questions we're trying to answer, the information we need to collect in order to get the answers, and ultimately what actions we will take based upon the answers we get. Even in this action stage is where you can start thinking about what the dashboard's going to look like, what the report's going to look like, what the end result is going to look like. How are you going to deliver those answers? And community visualizations can help you with that. So it's important to pay attention to this workshop because it'll help you there. Now, of course, after you've got all that, your plan all created, then you go into the build, and that's where you're going to make sure your traffic sources are identified, and then you go into results and you set up the different stages of results of the customer journeys you're trying to get, ultimately in a way that's structured together, right? Using like Tag Manager or something else to make sure that you're tying traffic to results so that it tells a story. At that point, Data Studio comes back because you've built reports, dashboards that your stakeholders or yourself or your boss they're now reading, right? Maybe your clients are in there reading these dashboards. Then they have little forecast. Ideally, the dashboards have little forecasts to tell you kind of what they should be doing, how every step should be performing. And at that point, you're just measuring against your forecast. And that's what tells you what to optimize so you know exactly what's working and what's next. And that is the measurement marketing framework. So this whole idea of Data Studio comes in at the action step. It comes in the read, the forecast, and the optimize step. And community visualizations can help you because they can really brighten up what Data Studio is able to give you on its own. Now, with all of our workshops, we talk about one thing, one new idea. Maybe you heard something just a slightly different way, or maybe you just picked up a new skill you didn't know you could use. In this workshop, you're going to see a bunch of them. So I want you to just pick one. You practice that skill. Then what we call riding the bike, you practice the skill. Then you're going to come back, rewatch this workshop, and you'll pick up new one things. That's why we make them publicly available for you. All right, let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Getting started using community visualizations in Google Data Studio. Now, normally this is where I just jump right in, but guess what? Today we have a special guest instructor. Julie Brade is the lead instructor over at measurementmarketing.io. She's been with us since 2015, I believe, at this point. It's been a while. And she's been teaching measurement marketing to our private guided training, which is kind of a one-on-one training we do for corporate teams since 2017. So she's our lead instructor for those programs. She's the account manager for our dedicated measurement management clients. So whenever we're doing work for clients, she manages those process. And she is an absolute Data Studio rock star. She's in Data Studio all the time. Our students love her. She's in the Ask Instructor support constantly for them. So part of our measurement mastermind, like she's just absolutely incredible. Cannot speak highly enough about Julie. She absolutely knows a thing or two about Data Studio. And with that little introduction, I'm going to go ahead and let Julie take it away. So Julie, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to you.
Thank you so much for that awesome introduction. We are going to go ahead and jump right in. Why do we want to use community visualizations? Well, basically, it actually helps tell the story better and helps the conversation. I like to think about end users that are going to be using the dashboards as sometimes they communicate in different ways. So they have the conversations in different ways. Some people really coordinate well and talk well, communicate well with spreadsheets and stuff like this. Mercer and I both fall into that category. We definitely are spreadsheet people, and we understand what this is telling us, and we like to be able to see our data this way. We also like to see our data kind of flowing through this way, but if we were to crunch numbers, we're definitely going to be in a spreadsheet for that. But there are a lot of C-level users where if they were to see something with a bunch of numbers like this, it doesn't help them see what the big picture is, what's actually happening, what's going on. Same thing with this. This is a little bit, yes, we have some colors here to kind of guide the user, saying what percentage is going through. Is that good or bad? Is that the forecast that we want here or not? And helping the user understand really quickly where they ought to optimize on this particular funnel. And so what community visualizations can do is actually enhance and help tell this story a little bit better. And so we're going to come over to another page, which, by the way, anyone who's back there in our Measurement Marketing Academy, even as a free Toolbox member, you have access to this demo dashboard as part of our dashboard planning toolkit or dashboard toolkit, excuse me, and you have access and can go in there and grab this and copy it to use as you want. But in this particular page, as our Academy example, again, we're telling the story of how the funnel is working over here on this particular side. And then we're also using, this is a community visualization that is telling the story of our eyes on the journey reporting that is for this particular offer page. And so it is much easier to understand what's happening here for when we change the dates and the numbers. It's more obvious, like, oh, the interested stage where they're supposed to be scrolling halfway and on the page for 45 seconds is not working as it should. And we could see that in our actual production report and where it's not working, as opposed to just seeing the blocks that stay the same size. And so that's how, for us and our team, how this has really been helpful. And we're going to see another example real quick of a couple of different things in the exact same way, exact same data. So again, we have our spreadsheets, and it's not a spreadsheet, it's a table, which if you're used to viewing data as in spreadsheets, this is probably very familiar for you. And then we have more scorecards, which is the exact same things we're using here. It's just in a little bit different format. And so it looks like a funnel. We have all of our different conversion rates here. I did not take the time to conditionally format. I stuck this together in just a few moments for this particular demo. And then we have here is a community visualization that, again, is telling story of what is happening. And we can see once we would add in a forecast or whatever it would be that our expectation of how each step is supposed to perform, we would know very quickly where we should optimize. Because again, if we're expecting, let's say 50%, 50 to 60% of users to get to step 2, and clearly the rest of the funnel is most likely not going to hit where it's supposed to, and we ought to optimize with step 2. And I also pointing out real quick that some of you may have realized I've already have 7 steps within this. And that is because I'm actually pulling from a spreadsheet. If you want to have 7 steps within this particular community visualization, you can also use goals if you're connecting into Google Analytics. But if you're like us and use what I'm going to call is either segments or filters and stuff like that, and blended data, you're limited to 5. And if you're not sure what I just said there, that is part of our Win Google Data Studio Basics course and Beyond Basics course. And so no worries, it's just sometimes you're limited to only 5 and you hit that limit and you're not sure why. There's ways around it, and you could use spreadsheets like I did here, or you can set up your goals and you can just line in your goals until, basically till it tells you to stop. And I have not hit that limit yet. So far so good for this particular tool. So let's go ahead and see exactly how we got to that tool, and we're going to check out a few of the others. So we are on a new page, and we have our toolbar here, and we're going to click on this. This says Community Visualization and Components. And we have every few days or few weeks, these top 4 will change. And you can see here added to this particular report is this one, and this is the one that I've been using. And so I'm going to actually explore more just because I want to show you that if you come here, this is again the one we were just using, if you click on these dots and say learn more, it's going to open up a document. Usually it's a Data Studio document, and it's walking you through how to use the tool, which is super nifty. And it can even show you how this can actually change different shapes as so, and all the different coloring options that you have too. If you don't like any of these coloring options, the pro tip is to change your coloring in your theme, and I'll show you that here in just a moment. But just clicking on this and adding will add it to the actual report. So all I did was click, and then I clicked again to drop it, and we're good to go. Now, how would we change the colors if we wanted to? So if I come in here and try to change the style on this, for whatever reason, it's never worked for me, but that's okay. There's a way around that. Is I click off, and I'm clicking on this grid area, and then I'm in the default theme and layout section. Then we click on customize. And here is where we can then change the colors. And this is where if I were to change this in here, the first document would also change. So let's actually just practice that. I'm going to change this to, we're going to change it to a really obviously different color. And then if I go to the first page, that first one would change as well. So that's just something to be aware of there. Now, let's go ahead and check out a few other ones that are super cool. This one is actually by Google. It's called a gauge. And if you have anyone that wants to see data really quickly and understand, are they doing good? Are they doing not good? What is going on? This is an amazing tool. So what you can do is, let's say we're going to choose our step 1 conversion rate. And we're going to come over to our style section. And this is just where we're going to be a little bit creative with our decimal points and all of that. So we're going to say 1 is going to be our highest number, and the green range, let's go to this, what actually we're going to say not 1 is going to be our, it's going to be 0.6, because we're going to say 60 is the highest, because remember we were thinking a while ago maybe 50 to 60, 0.5 to 0.6, excuse me, and then so maybe 0.4 to 0.5. Technically I should do 0.499999, but for the sake of this example we're good here. So then we're going to say 0 to 0.4. That way, very quickly, and obviously we would just kind of adjust this font and everything like that so it's a little bit easier to read, but very quickly the user could come in and say step 1 conversion rate is not where we want it to be. It needs to be higher up here. And there's a lot more formatting that you can do, and it's very cool to have, like, 4 or 5 of these right up top, and you can see which step you need to improve upon. And again, you can do that in something like one of these dashboards too. The font might not be as easy to read, but if it's in the right placement, it might be something super easy for the user to see too. Now let's go into some more. And these things are constantly changing and rotating, so there are always ones that you can come back here and review. This particular one you've probably seen on our dashboards. I'm actually going to bring over our real dashboard right now, our actual production dashboard, and show you how we use this one. This right here is another community visualization, and we like to use it for our scroll depths. And so what this is showing is that for this particular time frame, 4,300 users got to 10% of our Academy offer page, and about half of them got to the 90% of the page. And so, but let's see, let's look at a different one. But 80% of this 90 were at 75%. So meaning of those that got to 75%, 80% got to the next stage. And so it's just a good way of saying where are we falling off, and then how many people are making it from the previous step to the previous step to the previous step. And so it's just another way of understanding possibly what's happening on our Academy offer page or any other specific page. So it's nice to have you see from the previous step and from the starting step. Super neat. And that is this particular one. And again, you can click on here and learn more, and you're going to get lots of details about it. If you're familiar with Supermetrics, Supermetrics has some other tools here. We don't have any examples of using those. We used to use this date picker, but sometimes it would it wouldn't be available, and so I think they were going through some updates, so we have not implemented that one again. But when it was updated, it was a fantastic tool. I'm sure it's updated by now, but just always, all things Supermetrics are always great and fantastic to use. Now I wanted to show some of these other newer ones, and that is these guys down here. So I want to open this up. Actually, we're just going to cancel. I'm going to go ahead and learn more because I want to show you their documents. So let's say you're not necessarily doing something for a funnel, but you want to you have a lot of data and you want to make it easier for someone to search through, or just narrow down, and you want to make it easier. There's things where you can have these little bars in here, so you can change the dates really easily, and you can see you're going to have all kind of different things you can do with those. And that's just the slider. The search box is another neat one. I don't want to do that one. I'm saying learn more. Here we go. This is another neat one. You can search through things. We're going to click on this particular one, the table. Again, useful if you have a ton of data to go through on whatever dashboard that you have. We're all marketers, so we're probably looking at funnels and stuff like that. But if maybe you wear many hats and you need to do something that makes your job easier, there's other tools out there that might be able to help you with that. Now there is something else that I thought was kind of neat too, that might be super helpful for us as marketers as well. So let's say you have an e-com store, and you want to display your data in an easier fashion so someone can see what's happening. So this particular example is the property listings, and showing them and basically what this particular community visualization is in. It's a cards view. You would have to organize your information into like a spreadsheet, but this tool, it says open data source at the very bottom. So this tool comes with an example of how they have organized their data. So if you had an e-com store, you could technically organize your data in this way. Throw an image of the product in there with the link, and you could get something very easy for your end user to see. So it could quite literally be like, product A, product B, product C, and you can have images of each one, package 1, package 2, package 3, and you can put conversion rates or how many users saw it, product views, product clicks, product, image clicks, or whatever the users are doing. You would be able to do that with these cards and be very easy for the end user to see and compare and all of that fun stuff. So that is a way that us as marketers can take advantage of those type of things. Next one, is it this one? This particular designer developer has a few that I thought were really useful. This particular one, I think we are definitely going to be using it for our particular ourselves as well. And they did a great job explaining exactly how all of this works. And so what they're saying is just add in a icon, and then you can, it's going to do whatever it is you set it up to do. Like, hey, do you want it to set it up so it mails? So when they click on it, it's going to mail. So let's actually go through and do that real quick. We're going to allow. and that's always community visualizations. It wants you to allow, and then we're going to follow their prompts. Go back up to where we saw the big giant question mark, and then it says phone. So we're going to come click on it. Style, we don't want phone, or we don't help, we want, let's say, phone. All right, we chose that. And then we're going to go back to our document, and because it has a phone number next to it, and then contact, and this is where we can go down here, and where it says optional link will open to a new tab, that's where you can have that mail to link. So if we were not to do phone, but we can do email, and then we can put the mail to link right here. So when the user were to click on that, it would open up and try to send an email. Super nifty and great if you're using dashboards as a lead magnet or anything like that. Or it could be another link. It could be something like if you want your end user, like we actually do this, we want our end user to always go to the proper link for the web page. So like, hey, you know, we have a funnel, for example. Let's go actually to our funnel. For example, for a client, we would have, here's your funnel. And they'd be like, well, which funnel is this? Because they have 20. We want to make sure we're talking about the right one. We'll have like a little hyperlink somewhere at the bottom, like click here for your funnel. This way, we could have an image of a link, and we could put the proper UTMs on here so the traffic won't be part of the data. Like we always put test UTMs on there. So that's a really cool, nifty way that we'd be able to do that without using just text. And then same thing, you can keep on going through there. Now let's go to a few more. And again, these things are always changing. And these are just the ones that are super easy to use. There's some that could be a little bit more complicated, a little bit more dev related, but we'll get to those in a future workshop that's a little bit more beyond basics and a little bit more not so beginner, but just want you guys to know that there are others out there that might be, if you're looking for something a little bit more complicated, there might be others out there that have already built those. I'm actually going to go back to this one because I think it had another part. Oh, this is what it was. The other part of this particular tool was conditional formatting. So if we wanted to, let's actually close out of that. Conditional. So this is where we can decide if it's for whatever value it is that we want for something else to be set to. Again, the instructions are all in here, how to set it up, and we can then, you know, address that. We can actually, let's do that real quick. So we're going to say if conversion rate for step 1 is, and is this teeny tiny text? I'm like having to zoom in on here. All right, so hide icon if metric is above this value. So we don't want to hide it if it's do that. We don't want to hide icon for that. Oh, I know the logic that they're using. I see what they're doing. So they're saying all 4 of these are going to be visible, but because you're going to use conditional formatting, kind of like what we have here, so there's only going to be, the marker could only be between one of these 3. So we're actually going to switch this real quick. We're going to make our thumb green, and then we're going to copy and paste. And then we're going to make our thumb yellow. And then we're going to make our thumb red. And if there was a way I can rotate this, I would, but I'm not going to take the time to figure that part out right now. So if our value for this conversion rate is below 0.5, we're going to hide. If our value is below 0.4 or above 0.5, we're going to hide. And if our value is below 0.4, I think that's the logic that we used. I think. Let's make sure. Oh, that's my backwards logic. We're going to the other way. It's higher than 0.4. There we are. Now we got our logic. So again, we could have 3 thumbs sitting right here. And if we didn't want to use conditional formatting to make this green or yellow or whatever, we can have 3 thumbs, little thumbs sitting right here. Figure out a way to turn the other thumb upside down or use the smiley faces as they do. And very easily and fun way showing yes, good, bad, ugly, whatever it is, conditional formatting. And as you just saw, it took me a matter of minutes to figure that out. Again, you can use the smiley face like they have here. They have, I think they called it help, and then they have little smiley faces there. So very cool. And then we're going to look at one more that isn't necessarily the same one. But as you can see, there's all kind of other ones too. There's heat maps, there's candlesticks, and just as long as you're telling a story with your data or helping your user understand your data, that's always helpful. Venn diagrams is another one. I'm not sure if I've seen that in marketing, but it's another common one. This is the one that, actually we're going to look at his site first. This is the other one that I thought was really nifty for us as marketers trying to build dashboards for other people to see. What this is basically it gives you ways, as you can see, this is a light bulb. Change some settings in the tooltip border. And then so here's another way, and here's another way. So basically what it is giving you icons for you to place in spots where you can help users understand your data better. So which is an amazing tool. And I know other people that have been building these tools out there, and then the amount of tech and stuff that goes behind this is crazy. So we're going to go ahead and come into our style section, and again you can change what it is that you want to do, and you can have whatever text. You can say this is information, question, light bulb, and input text is this is testing the tool, and we can come into view, and we're going to hover, and this is testing the tool. And again, that's just quick demos of what this tool is capable of. Super neat. Obviously you can come in and change the size and all of that. So what do you do if none of these tools is exactly what you're looking for? That's what we were talking about a while ago, where maybe there's some other tool out there that a developer might have. That they've been working on and building, and this is where you can, or you are a developer and you want to build your own. So a quick Google search of community visualizations, and you can find quite a bit. So I just did Data Studio Community Visualizations, and we have our gallery here, which is a lot of what we just looked at here, but you can also come in and see if there's anything in the community that people have been posting about that might have, and then going to one of our others that we have used. Here he is, Ahmad Kanani, which most of you have probably seen in some of our courses and other workshops too. He's started out as one of our certified measurement marketers back in 2017, and he has definitely grown into his own. He's worked with developers on, this is one of his tools, it's a custom font. You just go to his blog, you can see the link here, and you can change your fonts with his community visualization tool. He does have another one that is for funnels. So just once you go and ask him for it, he can definitely help you get set up with that one as well. And if you have any ideas, he's great at listening to feedback, as I am sure most of these other developers are as well. Again, if you have a developer, they might be able to build you whatever it is that you're looking for here as well. So that is it for community visualizations. Again, we're just trying to help the end user understand the story that we're trying to communicate with them, and whether that's with a table or a chart or a community visualization, or using color-coded thumbs up signs or question marks, whatever it is that helps them understand the story better and understand their data so they can take action, because that's the end result for dashboards, and we want our end user to be able to take action and improve upon whatever it is they need to do. So I'm going to hand it back to Mercer. Until next time, bye guys.
All right, thank you for that, Julie. I appreciate it. Sorry about the delay there. Okay, so really, really awesome job. I love that. I love the fact that we got to see. Oh, sorry, I had a little feedback coming through. I had to stop. Okay, start over again. So, when it comes to your one thing, right? I love what Julie was showing in terms of I really like the idea of the thumbs up and the smileys, because I think there is a really good friend of mine, another business owner, that is very much into stick figure simple diagrams. He doesn't want to come into a dashboard and see a bunch of numbers. He wants to know exactly what to do next. And symbols allow that. They allow to tell the story, as Julie so aptly mentioned over and over again. The whole point of this is telling the story. And you also saw that Julie was like, oh, this is kind of new. Let's play with this. There's new ones all the time. So you get to focus on new community visualizations and go back to visit that. Don't get complacent. It's probably a strong word, but you don't want to get you don't want these things to be boring. You don't want to assume that you know the latest and greatest visualizations that have come out, because the development community is constantly out there doing new cool things. And that's another reason why we love Data Studio, because we know this tool is going to continue to evolve in the marketplace, because it's not up to Google. I love the fact that Google created that little range, right? The little range widget, which was awesome. That community visualization is super cool. But I also love that Data Studio is not limited by what Google comes up with. That's the coolest part about this whole thing. So just really, really awesome job. And hopefully you got at least one new thing from that and some cool ideas on how you might want to improve your own dashboards and tell your story. Now, next week, we have a Beyond Basics edition. So we go into something a little more advanced. It's for those of you with a little bit more experience. And we're going to talk about how to set up cross-domain measurement in iframes, but without using cookies, where before you had to kind of use cookies, and now cookies are becoming an issue with third-party cookies and everything else. So there are ways to do it. You just gotta pay attention to next week's workshop. Now, in order to get that workshop, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel if this topic interests you, or if you just like this topic, you like more beginner stuff, that's fine too. Remember, every week we rotate with topics, make sure there's something in it for everybody. So please be sure to subscribe. Again, we are I'm so happy we're over 2,000 subscribers and continuing to climb. I'm very, very pleased, and thank you for everybody who's been helping us along. So with that, and sharing our content on behalf of others who you think could be using it. Now, the Measure Marketing Toolbox. Julie mentioned this. So the free Toolbox members, this is, again, completely free. One of the tools in the toolbox is the dashboard toolkit, the dashboard reporting toolkit. That is available to you as a Toolbox member. It is free to get. If you want it, just go to measure.tip/WW. It'll ask for your name and email. It'll create an account for you and then give you access to the toolbox. So you have access to the dashboard reporting toolkit, but you also have access to all the other tools that we have back there as well. But if you're really serious about this and you're like, okay, I dig this measurement marketing thing. I like these tools. I like how these people think. I like to understand the strategy. I like to be able to, take my skills and make this more of a cultural shift where measurement is part of marketing, right? It truly is a measurement marketing culture in your own organization. Even if you're a freelancer starting out, or if you're a larger business with a larger team and you understand like, wow, it's a different way of looking at it, but it is such a great way of looking at it. Is the Academy will help you get there. The whole reason why we built the Academy is because of this framework, to help people walk through these various stages. Like when you're doing your plan, what questions are important to answer, and what information do you need to collect, and how do you think about the actions you're going to take, and how do you, because there is a specific structure of how you need to get your traffic into a measurement platform like Google Analytics, or set up your results, or actually make sure that the structure is intact. So it tells a story, and it's not just a bunch of stuff that you're looking at. How do you read the reports so you can get the answers quickly? How do you design dashboards so you can get the answers quickly? How do you forecast? How do you optimize based upon what's working and what's not? So we cover that over and over again in the Measurement Marketing Academy, and absolutely invite you to become a part of that. A quick tour for those that are interested. as I go through, it's a popular question we get is like, what does it actually look like? This is the Academy. When you come in, you have access to these 6 blocks here. So in the Academy, we have our courses. I'm going to cover the content first, and then we'll talk about the support. So the content, you have courses, you have on-demand workshops, and you have the toolbox. Win courses. The reason we call them Win is because Win stands for what I need. We are not big believers in creating courses where it's like, oh, it's only 87 million videos for you to get through. Like, that's ridiculous, and you don't need to watch all 87 million videos. What you need to know is how to use specific tools or how to do specific things. That's what Win courses are. It's what I need, not the fluff, just what I need. So we have these organized by date because we update them typically every 4 to 6 weeks. There's a new course that comes out, or it's an update to an existing course. In fact, this month, the month of July, as we're recording this one, we're currently in the middle of Win Google Optimize, doing the updates for that. Last month, we did a new one, Win Google Tag Manager Server-Side. Before that, it was Tag Manager Beyond Basics. Before that, we had done the Data Studio Basics, Google Sheets, Google Analytics setup, et cetera, et cetera. We also have these organized by topic. So you can see all the analytics stuff that we currently have, including Google Analytics 4 Basics, which I can tell you is in August going to get its 3rd update in a year because that platform's changing so quickly. But it gives you an understanding of how fast we try to keep up to date with this stuff as well. So that'll get updated. There's our Tag Manager stuff, so you can kind of get an example of the different topics that are available in Tag Manager. Dashboards and reporting coming through here as well. And then, of course, with Data Studio, and then measurement strategy, which I think is a lot of the secret sauce. It's important to know how to learn the tools, but I know as well as you do, you can go to YouTube and find a million videos that'll show you how to set goals. But how to think about it and what to do with it, it's difficult. And that is the strategy part. So we cover a lot of that in how to optimize, how to forecast, etc. Now, I want to show one quick thing because it's a question that I've gotten emailed to me a few times. And so that is just to show what the courses actually look like. People are like, well, how many videos are back there? And how many how big are they and how much time do they take and everything else? And the answer is, sadly, it depends because it depends upon the course. But I wanted to show you the structure. This is one of the largest courses we have, Win courses, specifically for the basics of Tag Manager. And I wanted to show you this because it's kind of like the biggest one. But to give you an example, so we've got Tag Manager broken down. This is the course itself, and it's broken down into each lesson. Each lesson has different topics. So we always try to make it as bite-sized as we can when we're going through it. So here's what the lessons and then the topics for those lessons as they come through. So you see here, it's a couple of minutes, introduces the lesson. Then you've got the different topics as they're coming through. And then if we go through and let's say, it's getting Tag Manager versus Google Analytics and understanding the difference between the two. That might be a topic we covered. So when you go into the topic itself, let's see how long this one was, about 8 minutes. So we're trying to typically keep each of these videos between 10 and 15 minutes. Some will go a little longer if it's an in-depth topic. Some might be a little shorter, but that'll give you a general idea of how the whole thing is structured. So just an important tip on that. Those are the courses themselves. That's just this part of the Academy. It's the self-directed courses. You can take them as often as you want. It's unlimited access. You get access to all the updates, any new courses that come out. You also have on-demand workshops. That's what these look like here. That is the current workshop you're currently watching right now. How meta are we? So you've got the current workshop for the week that's in there, but then you also have the student editions of the previous workshops. Now, these are different from the ones that are on YouTube because they've been edited down, like stuff like this has been taken out of it. And they've been edited down and a little more effects put in to make them a little easier to get through. And then we have them all in here. You see, this was last week's, and the week before that, and the week before that, and the week before that, etc. So you have all of these different ones that are in here. They're also organized by the edition. So here's all the what's new. The reason we do this is because members will come in who can't watch Workshop Wednesday every week, so they come in and they'll just get caught up, and they want to know what's new. They can see the latest and greatest from the June updates or from updates that came out in May or that Google released in April or whatever. They can check out the latest getting started topic, latest beyond basics topic, the latest strategy sessions that come through. But this is the most important part. This entire thing is searchable. So what most members will do is come in here and they will say, okay, well, I need to do something with e-commerce, and they search for something. And then the entire system goes through the entire Academy and it pulls everything that relates to that thing that you just typed in. So whether it's workshops, that individual workshops that are set up. So here's a specific one just for Google Analytics 4. There's beginner's guides, right? How to set up enhanced e-commerce. And then there's also the lessons, the Win courses that go over Google Analytics e-commerce. In fact, there's an entire Win course just for Google Analytics e-commerce. So, that just goes to show you how much you can get done just with these two things, and that's entirely on your own. You can do that. It's your own schedule. Do it whenever you want. You can do this at 3 o'clock in the morning, and you can get access to this stuff. Whenever you want it, it is there. The third part of content is the toolbox here. This is what Julie had mentioned earlier. So there's that dashboard toolkit right there. This is what gives you access to that demo dashboard that she was talking about. So all of our free toolbox members, of course, have access to this too, right? This is our way of giving back to the community. We give out these tools. These are all tools we have custom created for our members, including the toolbox members. But Academy members get additional stuff like the Get It Done guides. So they kind of are almost like a kit. Like, now that you know how to use Tag Manager and Google Analytics and Data Studio, let's do something cool with it. So this is something we call the Eyes on the Journey report. It kind of goes through templates and video training and everything else. So it's a little bit more robust. It's not quite a course. It's bigger than a workshop, but it's not big enough for a course. That's what the Get It Done guides are. I mean, we will create other one of those as well. So typically at least once a quarter coming out with new Get It Done guides because they are becoming popular. Now, that said, we've got win courses, on-demand workshops, and toolbox. So you can get a lot done on your own, right, to get kind of unstuck and going forward. However, you and I both know, I for sure have done this, where I've watched a video and then I try to do the thing and I'm like, that doesn't work at all. Or the video gets outdated or something. You're like, well, I'm not sure what it looks like. Or maybe the video showed a certain tech platform, but you use a different platform. And sometimes you just need help. Well, that's where we have the support. So we've got Winner Circle, which is the community. So this is an example of the Winner Circle. It's currently undergoing a massive design change, which I'm going to be hopefully able to share with you in the next month or so. But in the meantime, it is what you would think it is. Just a community back there of other measurement marketers, other members like you that are back there in the different groups, helping each other out, asking questions. Now, it's not just, the Winner Circle is not just questions about measurement, though people certainly do that. It's questions sometimes around a skill set that we don't have as measurement marketers. So for example, we'll get somebody that asks us a question around technical SEO and schema and something along those lines. We don't know those answers, but our members do, because some of our members are really good at technical SEO and they know measurement marketing. So members help each other out. Maybe you know a particular platform. Maybe you're really good at Google Ads or Facebook, and you can help other people with their Facebook ad strategies as it relates to measurement marketing, right? So there's a lot of people where people can build networks and share their super skills, and we've met some incredible people there in the Winner Circle, and expect that you will as well. The other place to get support is over here, Ask an Instructor Support. This looks like this. So the reason that this exists is because most of the time, is what most of our members are using, is the Winner Circle is public, right? So it's a public forum kind of thing where you can ask questions, but everybody else is seeing you ask questions. But sometimes you have a client question, you don't want to share somebody's data or whatever else. So you want to be able to talk to somebody who's an expert, almost like having a consultant on call, and say, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. This goal isn't quite working, or I'm not even sure what a goal should be. Here's what the customer journey looks like, or what the funnel looks like. What should you do? Or, hey, here's what my tech stack looks like. What should I click to get Tag Manager installed, or whatever the thing is. Doesn't matter as long as it's related to measurement. The Ask Instructor system is back there. So you pop in whatever your question is. You'll pop in whatever the description of your question is, and we love screenshots and videos. Send us over screenshots and videos. So what happens is we'll watch your video. The instructors, real live human beings, watch these videos, and then they're trained. They understand measurement marketing. They do this work for a living as well. They send you back videos of screenshots. So it's literally like having a consultant that is on call. Now, I will say it is not real-time support. It's not a real-time chat, because I don't have that many instructors that can man it to that level. However, they do give you answers within hours and not days. And that's the idea, is that, within 24 business hours, you're unstuck and on the way. You've got a very personalized, customized, concierge type support that you just can't get anywhere else. So that's the Ask Instructor Support, and I think that's a necessary component when you're learning this stuff, because sometimes you got to get a fresh pair of eyes on something, and it's helppul. We have lots of people that'll say, hey, here's my dashboard, and my boss said it wasn't helping them, and I don't know what to do. What do we do? And so they'll send us the dashboard, or send us a video of the dashboard, and we ask for advice, and we can help them with strategy. So whether it's a strategy question, implementation question, you've got us there. We've got your back. That's the whole point of this. We've got your back, and we can help you get through the academy. We build custom curriculums for people. The instructors are absolutely fantastic, as was, of course, you already know, because you've heard Julie. So, and she knows her stuff. So Julie, amongst others, are back there as well, helping you out. So that's these. And then, of course, there's manage account. This is just normal stuff. Upgrades, downgrades, changing my email, changing your password, all that sort of stuff happens there. So that is the Measurement Marketing Academy in a nutshell. Now, if that is something of interest, think about the value that's back there. We've got main areas of the courses, the Ask Instructor Support, the on-demand library, the Winner Circle. The courses, again, you get access to everything, all new courses, all updates, everything. We don't hold anything back on the courses. As long as you're an active Academy member, you have access to everything back there. roughly speaking, about $3,500 in value is what that is. The reason is because on occasion, if we ever sold these courses separately, minimum we would do is a couple $100. You can go look for other people's courses. I encourage you to do that. I love you comparing the Academy to other people's stuff. We have more that's back there, and other people, what they sell, some of these Google Analytics courses will go for hundreds and hundreds of dollars, which is great. I think that's awesome. They provide really good products, but we provide more, right? So at least $3,500 value just in courses you got access to. The Ask Instructor support, easily we could sell that for $500 a month, just that. The on-demand workshop library, this is an additional, that library, that searchable database of videos and everything, that whole thing has well over 200 videos in it. And we used to sell each one of those videos for $20 a piece. That's actually how we started, was doing these one video at a time and selling them individually. But it's just too many now. So we just include them all for one low rate. You got everything, but that's at least another $4,000 of value in terms of the training and support you have access to. And then of course the Winner Circle community. I love the community, but community, about $100 probably for that. But all told, that means you have access every month that you're an Academy member. You've got access to over $8,500 in training and support. That's pretty cool to have access to all of that stuff. So that is the Measurement Marketing Academy. Obviously, we don't charge $8,500 a month for that, at least not yet. But if you want to learn more, just go to measure.tips/getacademy. It will take you directly to the page. You can see the options. Take a look at the page itself. There are monthly and annual options. Always recommend annual. Most members end up upgrading to annual anyway because they realize how much there is. There is. It's a cultural shift. It's a mindset when you become a measurement marketer. And so we definitely do our best to make sure that you have everything you need and the entire system and support. And if you can imagine where you would be in a few short months from now, just practicing this stuff and learning it a little bit at a time. But we would love to help you out with it. So if that makes sense for you, Measurement Marketing Academy, just go to measure.tips/getacademy to learn more. And with that, we'll bring this one to a close. This has been Getting Started, using community visualizations in Google Data Studio. Thanks again for watching this workshop, and we will see you on the next one. Take care.